The farmhouse stood alone. Atop the hill, it overlooked the valley below. Ramona, a stern figure, surveyed her domain. Two children, Peter and Lily, played in the yard. Their laughter carried on the wind, a fleeting moment of joy in Ramona's otherwise somber world. The farmhouse creaked and groaned. It was a living, breathing entity. Its age was evident in the peeling paint and the sagging roof. Inside, shadows danced in the corners. They whispered secrets Ramona struggled to ignore. 5 years had passed since the accident. 5 years since Ramona's life had been irrevocably altered. The memory of the crash, the twisted metal and the blinding pain still haunted her dreams. Her husband, gone. Her leg, a casualty of that fateful night. She had survived, but at what cost? The guilt gnawed at her, the weight of her loss pressed down, suffocating her. She was tethered to the past, unable to break free. Life was a relentless cycle of chores and responsibilities. Ramona, once full of life, was now hardened. She barked orders at Peter and Lily. Their laughter, a jarring sound in the oppressive silence of the farmhouse, cooking, cleaning, tending to the chickens. Each task a painful reminder of her limitations. Her wooden leg, a constant companion, was a symbol of her brokenness. The wind howled through the valley. It carried a chill that seeped into the bones. It whispered her name. Ramona at first dismissed it as her imagination, but the whispers persisted. They grew louder, more insistent. She began to notice things. A fleeting shadow at the edge of the woods, a crow perched on the fence, watching her with an unnerving intensity. Her grip on reality felt tenuous, like a threadbare rope threatening to snap. Section 5. The Veil of Fear. Fear, like a shroud, enveloped Ramona. It clung to her, suffocating her. She saw danger in every shadow, heard whispers in every gust of wind. Her once familiar surroundings now seemed menacing. Sleep offered no escape. Nightmares, vivid and terrifying, plagued her. The crash, her husband's lifeless eyes, and now a new figure in her dreams, a woman cloaked in black. Section 6. A Fractured Mind. Ramona's once unwavering resolve began to crumble. Her mind, a battleground of fear and guilt. She lashed out at Peter and Lily, her words sharp and cutting. They cowered before her, their laughter silenced. She was lost in a labyrinth of her own making. The walls were closing in, suffocating her. She was trapped, a prisoner of her own fractured mind. Section 7. The Woman in Black. The woman appeared on the edge of the woods, a figure shrouded in black, her face obscured by a veil. Ramona froze, her breath caught in her throat. The whispers in the wind intensified. The woman beckoned, a single silent gesture. Terror rooted Ramona to the spot. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The woman in black was a harbinger of something sinister. Section 8. Echoes of Guilt. Drawn by an unseen force, Ramona moved towards the woman. Lily and Peter cried out, their voices distant and muffled. The woman led her deep into the woods, to a clearing bathed in an eerie, ethereal light. "You can't hide from the past." The woman's voice was a low, guttural sound. It resonated deep within Ramona's soul. Images flashed before her eyes, whispers of a long-buried secret, the accident, her fault. Section 9. Redemption. The truth, like a physical blow, knocked Ramona to her knees. She sobbed, the weight of her guilt crushing her. The woman in black stood before her, a silent, judging figure. This was her reckoning. And then, a hand on her shoulder, a voice soft and forgiving. Lily and Peter, her children. They had followed her. They didn't understand, but they were there. And in that moment of shared fear and unconditional love, Ramona found a glimmer of redemption.
Ramona stood at the foot of the attic stairs, her two children, Lily and Leo, clinging to her legs. The air hung heavy with dust and the scent of forgotten things. A single bare bulb cast long, eerie shadows across the cluttered space. Ramona took a deep breath, the musty air catching in her throat. She hated this place. It was a repository for discarded memories and unfulfilled dreams. But the children had insisted on finding their old Halloween costumes. And so here she was, facing her demons, both literal and figurative. Lily tugged on Ramona's hand, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and excitement. Leo, ever the pragmatist, pointed towards a dusty trunk tucked away in the corner. Ramona nodded, urging them forward with a reassuring squeeze. As they moved deeper into the attic, a cold draft snaked around her ankles. The hair on the back of her neck prickled with unease. Something wasn't right. A floorboard creaked behind them. Ramona spun around, her heart pounding in her chest. Standing in the shadows, barely illuminated by the weak light bulb, was a woman. Her silhouette was tall and slender, draped in what appeared to be a long, flowing black dress. The woman's face remained obscured, hidden in the darkness that clung to her like a shroud. Ramona's breath hitched in her throat. She took a step back, pulling Lily and Leo protectively behind her. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. The woman didn't answer. She simply glided forward, her movements fluid and silent, like a phantom on the stage. Fear coiled in Ramona's stomach, cold and tight. She knew with a certainty that defied logic that this was no ordinary intruder. "Leave," Ramona commanded, her voice trembling slightly despite her best efforts to sound brave. The woman in black paused, a low chuckle escaping her lips. The sound sent chills down Ramona's spine. "You cannot escape me, Ramona," the woman said, her voice a silken whisper that seemed to slither around the room. "I am a part of you." Ramona shook her head, refusing to believe it. This couldn't be happening. Not here, not now. She had to protect her children. "You're wrong," Ramona said, her voice gaining strength. "I don't know you. Get out of my house." The woman in black smiled, a slow, predatory stretching of her lips that didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, but you do know me, Ramona," she purred. "I am the fear that keeps you awake at night. I am the doubt that whispers in your ear. I am every negative thought you've ever had given form." Ramona's mind reeled. This couldn't be real. It was just a figment of her imagination, a manifestation of the stress she'd been under lately. That had to be it. "You're not real," Ramona said, her voice firming as she clung to this sliver of hope. "You're just a bad dream." The Dark Lady laughed, a harsh, grating sound that echoed around the attic. "Am I?" she asked, her voice dripping with malice. "Then why do you tremble, Ramona? Why do your children cower behind you? I am as real as the fear that grips your heart." Ramona felt a cold dread settle over her. The Dark Lady was right. She was real in a way. She was the embodiment of Ramona's own negativity, a physical manifestation of all the self-doubt and fear that she had been trying to suppress for so long. The Dark Lady took a step closer, her dark eyes boring into Ramona's. "You are weak," she hissed. "You are not good enough. You are a failure as a mother, a wife, a woman." Ramona felt tears pricking at the corners of her eyes, but she fought them back. She wouldn't give this creature the satisfaction, but the Dark Lady's words struck a chord deep within her, unearthing old insecurities and doubts. "Just give in," the Dark Lady whispered, her voice like silk against velvet. "Let go of the pain. There's an easy way out." Ramona's hand brushed against something cold and sharp. She looked down to see a pair of old gardening shears, their blades glinting menacingly in the dim light. For a moment, a terrifying thought flickered through her mind. An escape, a release. But then she heard a small whimper behind her. "Leo!" Ramona's eyes snapped to her son's face, pale and etched with worry. He was looking at her with a mixture of fear and concern, his small hand clutching tightly onto Lily's. And in that instant, something shifted within Ramona. This thing, had taken enough from her. It wouldn't take her children too. The fear that had been threatening to consume her was replaced by a surge of fierce protectiveness. Ramona straightened her spine, her gaze locking onto the dark ladies. The shears clattered to the floor, forgotten. "No more," she said, her voice low but steady. The dark lady recoiled as if struck. "You cannot defeat me," she hissed, her voice laced with desperation. "I am a part of you." Ramona shook her head. "You were," she corrected, her voice growing stronger, "but not anymore. I am done being afraid." She stepped forward, her fear replaced by a newfound determination. The dark lady's form flickered, her features growing hazy and indistinct. You will regret this," she whispered, her voice fading into a mournful wail as she dissolved into the shadows. The attic was silent once more, save for the sound of Ramona's own ragged breathing. Ramona stood there for a moment, her heart still pounding in her chest. Slowly, the tension drained from her body, replaced by a wave of relief so profound it felt like a physical sensation. She turned to her children, their eyes wide and questioning. "It's okay," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "She's gone. She can't hurt us anymore." As if to confirm her words, a shaft of sunlight broke through the dusty attic window, illuminating the space where the dark lady had stood just moments before. Downstairs, the sound of the front door opening broke the silence. A moment later, Ramona's husband, Mark, called out, his voice filled with concern. "Ramona? Kids? You okay up there?" "We're coming," Ramona called back, her voice bright with genuine cheer. As they descended the stairs, Ramona felt lighter than she had in years. The attic, once a source of dread, now seemed almost ordinary. The dark lady was gone, and with her the oppressive weight of her negativity. Ramona knew that life wouldn't always be easy. There would be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But now she had the tools to face them. She had stared down her demons and emerged victorious. And as she wrapped her arms around her family, the warmth of their love enveloping her like a shield, Ramona realized that she was not just okay. She was stronger, braver, and more resilient than she ever thought possible. The darkness had been vanquished, and a new dawn had arrived.